Buying a laptop can be a very complicated and stressful process. Not only are there a seemingly endless amount of laptops to choose from, there's also a wide assortment of actual use cases that people need their laptop for. So we're going to provide the questions that you should be asking when you enter this process, and also we're going to give you some tools to help narrow down the options to hopefully get to the laptop that's right for you. The first thing you need to consider is operating system. Basically, there are three primary ones that you should be looking at, which is Chrome OS, macOS, and Windows 10. Basically, every laptop that you are considering is going to fall into one of these operating systems. A lot of people already know which operating system they prefer, and that's totally understandable because familiarity is really important when it comes to this big purchase of a laptop. However, if you're looking at getting the best value, we really recommend that you keep your mind open to possibly switching to one of the other operating systems. For example, if you're looking at buying a MacBook but don't have over $1,000 to spend, we really say that you should get a Windows laptop because you're going to get better performance and better battery life and overall a much better experience than getting an old MacBook or a used one or something like that. As another example, on the lower end of the spectrum in terms of price, let's say you really want a Windows 10 laptop but are looking at spending under $500. In a situation like that, we recommend that you look at a Chromebook because again, that's going to give you much better performance, better battery life, and it's all going to be in a slimmer chassis. Overall, it's going to be a much better experience. Now that we've got operating system out of the way, let's talk a little more about price. Basically, you've got three primary price categories to choose from, and it starts with the super cheap level, which is, I'm thinking around under $500. You can expect a really high-res display and really great performance and stuff like that in a laptop that costs under $500. However, these days you can get a really solid Chromebook that will have great battery life, and it'll have probably an HD display, and it'll be perfect for the person that needs just general light usage of a laptop, perfect for video watching or web browsing and activities like that. Next, we're going to get into the mid-range section. That's anywhere between $500 and $1,000. And here's where we start getting into some really high-quality laptops that really only have one or two main compromises, whether it's in display, performance, or battery life. One of our favorites is the ZenBook 13, which outside of the look of it, which isn't anything special, it basically has all the bases covered in terms of those main areas that you want in a really solid laptop. In this section, there are also some really high-end Chromebooks these days that have really awesome displays and get great battery life. And these are for people who don't necessarily need the highest performance, but want something that looks and feels really premium. Let's get into the final segment of the pricing categories, which is the $1,000+ area. And this is where you get into the really high-end laptops. It encompasses a ton of different products, but basically from here on out, you can expect everything to have really high-end design and build quality, great performance, really fast storage, and really high quality displays. A couple noteworthy laptops to point out: the $1,200 MacBook Air, which is the bottom end of the MacBook lineup, and then also the spec'd up quad-core XPS 13. This is currently our favorite laptop you can buy right now. You're gonna find a ton of different great laptops in this $1,000+ area. Just be ready to spend the money on it. So hopefully you have a really good idea of now what operating system you want to choose and also how much money you want to spend on this laptop. But before we move on, there's two other categories that we have to talk about, and that's 2-in-1s and gaming laptops. 2-in-1s are laptops that can be converted into a tablet. They have touchscreens, they have mobile apps that you can use with them. And basically this is for the person who needs their laptop to be really versatile. They're on the go, they need to be portable. And the best example of this is the Surface Pro 6, which starts at $900. But there are a ton of laptops that have 360-degree hinges and can be used in tablet mode. It's just something to consider. You'll see it a lot as you're going about choosing a laptop. The other big category to talk about is gaming laptops. Now, these are laptops that can play modern 3D games. They usually have a discrete graphics card in them, like a GTX 1050 on up to a GTX 1080 Ti. The thing to know, however, is there also is 15-inch laptops out there that have a 1050 or 1050 Ti that can kind of double as a stealth gaming laptop, something like a Dell XPS 15 or even the Razer Blade 15. These are both laptops that can play games but have a thinner and lighter chassis. If you've been following along, you should have a smaller group of laptops to choose from as opposed to an endless amount. And now here's where we get down to the nitty-gritty details, the features of these laptops. And there are so many things to consider here, whether that's port selection, keyboard, trackpad, the display size. There's just so many different features that these laptops need to have. And that's why it's so important for you to figure out what you need this laptop to do and which features you absolutely have to have. We always think about these 4 important features when we consider a laptop, and that is build quality, display, performance, and battery life. These are kind of the non-negotiables when we approach a laptop for review. Once you have your 2 or 3 laptops that you've narrowed your choices down to, head over to Digital Trends and actually read a review on that specific laptop and go in depth to know whether or not it actually lives up to the promises that the manufacturer is making in things like the display, the battery life, or the performance. Hopefully that gives you some tools that you can use to make this whole process a little bit smoother and narrow down the amount of laptops that you're actually considering for your next purchase. One last thing to keep in mind is that these laptops do tend to go on sale at least a few times throughout the year on holidays like Black Friday. So make sure to pay attention around those days so you get the absolute best deal on your next laptop. Thanks for checking out this video. My question for you is, what is the primary feature that you consider when you want to buy a new laptop? Is it the display? Is it the keyboard? Is it USB-A ports? Let us know in the comments, and make sure to subscribe to Digital Trends to get more videos like this one.